Oh, it just looks so beautiful. All the new little things we have planted. It's going to be a busy day in the garden. Hi, buddy. Okay, I've got to decide which plants we are going to get into the ground, and I discovered this one and somehow had kind of missed it just looking over everything. This is another straw flower that looks larger, and I do believe that's what it should look like. So let's go check the ones we planted yesterday. You would have seen it in yesterday's vlog. Let's go see how they're doing, because I do think I planted them a little too young, but everything was saying it was good to plant, and I was seeing other people's pictures that size, but I will probably definitely wait till they're a little larger like this. But let's go take a look, because here's some more. But that's when they were saying to plant them, but I do feel like that's a little small, but who knows? I'm learning as I go as well. I've been able to move all of my existing seedlings into this one greenhouse, and they all need a little bit more time, and now I can take my other greenhouse and put it back upstairs and start to get my dining room back. Okay, my sourdough has been fed this morning, so we fed it yesterday, and then we fed it this morning, and I'm going to let it rise for about 6 hours, and somewhere around 1-2 o'clock we will be able to start it and get it in the bowl and start preparing it. And then we're going to roast our garlic and cut our rosemary from the garden, and we are going to test out a roasted garlic rosemary sourdough bread. Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. This is what's greeting me as I'm walking into the greenhouse this morning. Oh my goodness. I can already tell you I'm going to pick up some more of these just to keep in the greenhouse, so that when I walk in, they're in pots and they're greeting me. So we may be going to Lowe's later today because I need some more of those. Okay, so everyone is looking good here. We have our sweet alyssum. She looked like she did really good overnight. And then our sweet alyssum that we've planted. So they all look great. Now the big question, how did our Strawflowers do? And see what I mean about the pine straw? I had pine straw all around this, and when it gets wet, it just kind of, so I need to put some more pine straw, but they look like they're doing fantastic. Okay, maybe I'm just worrying too much, and they are okay to plant. So we're definitely going to get some more planted, but look how beautiful this bed looks. Red cabbage, golden acre cabbage, early cabbage. It's going to be stunning. The sweet alyssum that we planted here, she's doing great and actually already has some little buds. How fun is that? And then the sweet alyssum that we planted here looks great. So, oh, and let's check our marigolds that we planted yesterday. Let's see, we have 3. So we did 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to clean all of this out and get that ready to plant today. Everything did really good last night. Good morning. It is going to be such a great day. We've got so much planned in the garden. We're going to be planting our beautiful violas, our pansies, our snapdragons. We've got lots of other little transplants to get into the ground, and I am beyond excited. And I've got sourdough that's rising in the kitchen. We're doing a roasted rosemary from the garden, roasted garlic rosemary sourdough bread. Cannot wait to see how that goes. We are at 62 degrees in the greenhouse, and it feels amazing. I almost thought I needed a sweatshirt, but I'm going to get moving and busy, and I'll warm up in no time. But let's go get started, and thank you so much for being here. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to go onto the patio and go get what we're going to plant today. Okay, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is start going through the garden and placing cups that I'm going to try to plant today, so I can have an idea of where things are going to go. So I have it kind of drawn out in my garden journal, but I just want to make sure it feels right. And so this is giant red mustard, and last year I planted one, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to plant it. I actually really enjoyed it. It has a fantastic peppery taste, a little bit like a horseradish, but I love horseradish, but it's also absolutely beautiful when it's growing. So if you don't want to grow it, and there's a lot of other great benefits that giant red mustard has for the garden. So I had some notes that I was working on that I put into my garden journal so that I could always remember the benefits of growing giant red mustard. And giant red mustard adds beauty and color to the garden, of course. It's edible. I think it's actually very good. It's cold hardy and fast growing. It thrives in the cooler weather. It's a natural pest deterrent, which is fantastic. It helps deter pests like aphids, nematodes, and some people use it as a trap crop. I'm not, because I actually want to be able to eat it. It also, I love this fact that when I was researching it, it improves the soil's health. It's part of the brassica family, and when it's used as a cover crop, mustard helps suppress weeds. It breaks up compacted soil, and it adds organic matter when turned back into the soil. So those are all great benefits to have it inside of the garden, and it's definitely going to be in my... If you're wondering, my garden buddy Leo is out here and just keeping me company. Just loves to be by my side. I love you so much. I do. All right, I did realize that we need to remove all of this basil so that we can plan what plants will be going back there. And I love that all of this was volunteer basil. Did not even have to plant any of it. Can I tell you that I've got a lot to do over there, and I was working on that bed, but all I can think about is this planter. So I'm ready to jump into this and get it done. Just a reminder from the other vlog, we are planting these little violas that are so pretty and so adorable. And this is a pansy. She's gonna go in the center, and then the violas are gonna go around. So we're gonna freshen up the soil. Let me go grab that, and then we'll get it planted. We'll add some biotone, and it's going to be absolutely stunning. This will not be here. She's going to be organ fixed for sure. That's my lesson of roselle, that you always trim it when it's 18 inches tall so that you don't get that. Because I did it on the other one and it worked like perfection. So let's refresh our soil and get this planted. Okay, look at how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness, that's what's going to greet me every morning that I come out to the greenhouse. Now the bag of soil will be used today, but that's what will be greeting me every day. I just love it. On the list, I need to decide what little pot I want to put inside, because I just think it would be so much fun to look at this every morning until I can keep it out in the greenhouse. Once we kind of start to get in the 70s, I'll move it out. But when we're still kind of getting in those 80s, high 80s, I want to keep her safe inside. Now, I am really thinking I want this pot. It's got the built-in little tray. I'm just hoping she doesn't get root bound and outgrow this one. But I also don't want a huge pot inside. I just want something small. So we're gonna go ahead and go with this one. I'm not gonna overthink this. So just about 3 years ago, I bought several of these bunnies from Target, and I absolutely love them, but over time the sun cracks them and these have definitely broken, so she's holding on with everything. I need to get some super glue, but it does hold on pretty well. But let's get her back. I like to just kind of sit her in the bed, and then everything kind of grows around her, so I think she'll be good right there. Okay, now let's plant our beautiful little flower. Okay, she is way too big to fit in this pot. So you can see that's just way too big. So what we're gonna do is, now this one's gonna have to sit in this little clear tray, which that's okay, but the problem here is that I don't have the little plug that goes in the bottom. So, and that is way too big. So what I like to do is I take this screen netting. One thing I have found about gardening is you do really need to hold on to those random things because they definitely come in handy. So let's cut this and just put that right in there, and then we'll start filling it up with soil. And that way our soil doesn't come out and make just a big mess. Okay, this is where these little towels come in handy. That's why I keep these. They are fantastic, and then I'll just wash them up. But she turned out, really, really pretty. So for right now, she's just gonna sit right here. And then let's go plant our snapdragons. I'm not ready to work on the other beds since I know where these are. I'm so into my flowers right now. Let's go plant the snapdragon. Okay, so here's one thing with gardening, that it is hard to kind of just stay in one path because you see something and then you're like, okay, so I was able to get 2 out of that, and now I'm kind of thinking, I'm not a symmetrical person because that's extremely hard to do in the garden. I've been able to let that go. My first year, I tried to get everything matchy, but the problem is, I was thinking, oh, I could do 2 there and 2 there, but the rosemary is there because that rosemary is on the outside. What I do think I might do is tuck where the bunny is. I could tuck 2 in there. That could end up being really, really pretty. I think that's what we're gonna do. Okay, I've decided to tuck this little viola right in front of the rosemary. I just think when the alyssum is growing out, everything is going, that tucked right there will be really pretty. Okay, I absolutely love the look of that. That is so pretty. So we've got a lot more flowers to plant along here, so let me go get those and then figure out what else we're going to be putting everywhere. So, but I am taking a break. I'm starving, so let me go heat up Joanna Gaines' cinnamon muffins, or cinnamon rolls that I shared in yesterday's vlog. I'm going to try them in the air fryer. They're already cooked because I cooked them all together, but I'm going to go heat it up in the air fryer, and then we're going to have breakfast in the garden. Little flowers are already bringing me so much joy. I'm just at a loss for words, but I heated up the Joanna's cinnamon roll that we tested in yesterday's vlog. I made those in the oven, and then I had 2 left, and so I heated it up in the air fryer. Very, very low heat. Very good. Got a little crunchiness. Super good. Breakfast in the garden with the sun. Feels fantastic. Looking at my new little flowers with my pretty new little dishes. Perfect day. Okay, I just went inside for a minute, and my husband said that he almost thinks he likes today's better than yesterday's, even though he said yesterday's was very good, but he likes the little bit of firmness that it has from being cooked in the air fryer. So if you like more of a bakery doughy, warm, hot out of the oven, which it was warm and hot out of the oven texture, that is definitely very good. But you could cook it in the oven and get it done. And if someone likes it to be firmer and a little bit more, I don't know what the right word is, but just, I don't know the right word, but then pop it in the air fryer on very low heat and kind of get that outside a little bit more crunchy. That's a good option, but it is very, very good. He likes this one actually better. Okay, breakfast was delicious. I am going to sit here with my garden journal and catch up for a minute. I need to write my violas that I've planted, and I need to write the snapdragons. So let me get that called up real quickly, and then I've already started. Let me show you what I've got going on over here. Oh, I could just sit here and stare at those all day long, and those right over there. But all the red cups my goal is to get those planted here shortly. It's going to be, there's 2 Strawflowers in that cup. And I know I said I was not going to plant anymore, but those Strawflowers are really big. So I need to make sure I put the right variety down there. And then Strawflowers, and then a giant red mustard, and cauliflower. And I might see about if I can still tuck in some snapdragons that I've grown. Okay, so on the Strawflower that I'm about to plant, I wrote on the cup, like I told all of you, is you write what you're planting. So it says Strawflower DM and the date. And I was like, oh, I am going to remember this. I don't know what DM is. I could go inside and look it up, but let me see, what does DM stand for? I can't believe I thought I would remember that. So, and I don't think I wrote it out. Maybe I wrote it out all the way in my garden journal. Let's see, I planted it September 6th. So it is September 6th. Strawflower DM. Let's see if we can look this up. Because then you have to remember, where did you buy the seed from? I think I know. I think I bought this one from Eden Brothers. Alright, I know I bought the Strawflower king size salmon. So that's not a DM. And buy it from Eden. I've bought seeds from Baker's Creek. Let's check Baker's Creek. I probably could have already gone upstairs and pulled them up by now out of the little seed container. I found it. DM. Did any of you get it right? Did you know what DM was? Let me know in the comments. It's double mix. It's a tall double mix. That is what it's going to look like. So that is going to be really pretty near that arch. And if it needs any support, I can tie it. So that's perfect. We will definitely stick with that. Okay, I mentioned before that I am over root vegetables right now. I'm just not in the mood for them. I'm not enjoying growing them. And if you don't enjoy growing something, don't grow it. So we're going to pull this up. And I am going to plant some Strawflowers right here. This bed is 100% complete. We have everything from thyme, marigolds, Swiss chard, multiple cabbages, varieties, snapdragons, Strawflowers, sweet alyssum, violets. I just think it's going to be absolutely stunning when it takes off. Now for this bed, all that we have left is the back. And speaking of backs, after all the work I did yesterday and today, mine is killing me. But that's okay. We are definitely going to have these 2 beds finished. If we don't get anything else done today, these 2 beds will be finished. So I had thought about leaving those 2 that were already very close together, kind of like that. But it says that it does need to be spaced out a good bit. Gosh, I kind of want to leave it and just test it. That's going to be my experiment. So let's watch that one through the season to see how they do. Now that one we're going to split. So here's a little tip for you that I do when it comes to pine straw, because it's so hard to work with when you're working with something so small and delicate. I go ahead and form a half moon, like a smiley face, so that I can get it up and under. And that makes a really big difference. So I pick it up, which a lot of times I take my gloves off because it's just too difficult. I go up and under with my half moon. So I've got 2 half moons, 2 half circles to make 1 circle. This bed is complete, and I've done a little bit of rearranging with the pots, and I'll show you that in a minute, but we are complete. And I am so excited. There are snapdragons in the back. The blue pots, I'm going to be planting snapdragons and violas in them. And then we have cabbage, Swiss chard, marigolds, snapdragons, sweet alyssum, rosemary, a bunny. It's absolutely perfection. Now, let's talk about this. This is the last item for the day. I'm going to go ahead and plant this snapdragon, and then I'm going to get some more of these tiny violas, and they will go in the front. That will probably be later this week. So let's get this one done. Taken care of. I think this is going to be so pretty with the snapdragon and the little violas around it. So what I'm going to do, instead of planting her right in the center, I'm going to plant her back just a little bit because I want to plant those violas and I want them to have room in the front. So let's get her taken care of. Okay, the greenhouse is clean. I'm going to leave the window open because we have no rain. That's going inside with me, but she is done and ready for me to just come out here this week and get things done. I just cannot believe I get to walk into this every time I come out here. Just think that is beautiful. And then what else? I'm about to sit down and catch up my garden journal, finish my coffee, and write down all the stuff we planted, but I'm so happy with what we got done, and I'll definitely be sharing with you more on the next one. But this bed is complete. This bed is complete, and I think it is gorgeous. These two planters are going to have snapdragons and violas. The back will have snapdragons and violas. That one has some zinnias that I'm just kind of letting go until we have our first frost. I did move another chair because I felt like that looked nice. These are going to be filled with dirt, but they will not have anything planted in them because they're going to have tulips and ranunculus, and they will be ready next spring, but they have to be planted in the fall. This bed will be done tomorrow, and this bed will be finished off tomorrow as well. These are zinnias that I'm going to let grow until the frost takes them. And then I have my mint, which I'll clean up this week. Our beds are looking really good. I will cover up my Strawflowers if I feel like they're getting too much sun later today. I'll clean up this mint this week. And then our lettuce is doing good. And our cauliflower, sweet alyssum. Oh, we do have one more thing to do that's a little painful. I don't know if I want to do that today, though. I'm not doing it today. We need to snip our new snapdragons, but I need to research how far to do those since they've already have their flowers. The bees are already out here over them. Oh, it's just beautiful. Okay, let's catch up the garden journal. Okay, so the sourdough process has started. We're going to start making it. So this has been mixed. I use 100 grams of starter, 350 grams of filtered water, 500 grams of bread flour or all-purpose non-bleached flour, and we're going to let that sit for an hour. I won't go through all the steps. I'll jump back in and share with you when I start the actual roasted garlic and picking the rosemary. Now we're going to get our next sourdough ready to go so that we can do this again next week, and then I will have some discard left and I might make some cookies this week. Okay, so we are going to start roasting our garlic because we're at the point that we have added our salt, and so she's got to do another 30 minutes and I'll start doing my stretch and folds every 2 hours. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and roast my garlic. I've done my I've added my salt, and so that's going to start my stretch and folds. So every 30 minutes I'm going to do my stretch and folds for the next 2 hours. But while that's going, I'm going to roast my garlic because it's going to take about 40 minutes at 420 degrees. I have 9 little cloves. I bought the ones that are fresh and peeled, so make it super simple. And then we're going to add some olive oil, and then let's just fold this up, and the directions say to roast. That will also give it time to cool, because if that's almost an hour and then we let that cool, we'll be good and into our stretch and folds. So in the oven we go. Okay, we're gonna go check the garden and make sure everyone's looking okay. I came out a little while ago when I went to the grocery store because I sat down and did my meal plan for the entire week, which I am just so proud of myself for doing that. I'm into my 5th week, and I literally shop my kitchen first and then I go to the grocery store. And it's like, I know it sounds so simple, but when you want to make a pot of chili and you buy another chili pack, or you buy the tomatoes and you already had tomatoes, and it's making a world of a difference. But I came out earlier and I put this umbrella, which, by the way, can we talk about how fabulous she is with her tassels? That is a Studio McGee umbrella, and whenever we entertain or have something out in the garden, when I move the table out here, because by the way, let me show you this. This area makes the most fabulous area to set up tables and bar carts, and you can entertain. It is fantastic. We were kind of giving some thought about adding maybe 2 more beds and doing nothing but tulips and flowers and just having it so full. The only thing with that is it makes me, the idea of losing this entertaining space, I don't know if I'm going to go that direction because I really do love this grass space. It's just fabulous. But back to the umbrella. I brought the umbrella out to help shade the garden because I just felt like my seedlings were getting a lot of sun. And so earlier when the sun was right, it was kind of shading both of them, but the sun is definitely moving, as we all know that it does. Can I tell you how amazing my house smells right now? The garlic is roasting and it smells unbelievable. But we are going out to get rosemary so that we can chop it up for the sourdough. And then while I'm out here, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of my pots. And I decided to add Parmesan in with it. And Eddie is grating that for me right now. So let's get our rosemary. I've left her in the greenhouse today, and she seems to be doing really good. Okay, let's grab our scissors. Thank goodness they're not too hot. Sometimes I'll come out here and touch them and they just about burn me. I gotta take that inside to get a new battery, but let's go get our rosemary. Okay, let's check to see if we have any okra, just to be safe. Because if we do, oh, we do have some. That's why I brought this. Oh, we have some down here. Okay, I'm happy with that. We've got our rosemary and 2 okra pods to put up. So let's go clean up our rosemary and chop her up. Okay, so the garlic turned out fantastic and my house just smells amazing. So I'm going to put these in a bowl and start smashing them so that they'll cool off faster. And that way, on our next stretch and fold, we'll go ahead and add it and get it really incorporated. Okay, so what I found is that the smaller ones tend to burn, so don't go with the smaller ones. And I think I'm gonna need more, so because I have the time, I'm gonna go ahead and roast about 5 more, but I'm gonna try to really pick those big ones. Also, just a tip, I always find that wet hands are the best way to do this. And I love this scraper, it does fantastic. So, I'm going to just smush this and smear it on the bread. Okay, so before I start doing the stretch and fold, I've got garlic kind of smeared in there. I've got rosemary, and then it's topped with Parmesan, and I'm going to start folding in. Then when my garlic comes out of the oven and I do my next stretch and fold, I'll do another layer of smeared garlic, Parmesan, and rosemary. We're gonna go water the garden. It is time, and oh, I need to go grab my phone because I do like to listen to music and water the garden. But I am going to I'm just gonna leave the umbrella there for tonight. It won't hurt anything, and that way I can continue to slowly let them. I've never done that before, but my flowers just seem a little delicate and I want to be very careful with them. So let me go get the water hose. To start proofing in our proofing basket, so I like to use one of these, and then I like to take some rice flour and I use this little device, and it's got the little tiny holes, and I'm going to sprinkle the flour all over it to help it to not stick. And then we have, you can see the garlic smeared and the Parmesan and the rosemary. So it's going to proof for the next 2 hours, and we are at 5:30. So 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, and then after 7:30. I will put it in the oven and it will cook for 25 minutes with the lid on, 20 minutes with the lid off. So I will definitely taste it before I go to bed. Making one of my most favorite dinners that I made all summer, and I would go take fresh tomatoes out of the garden and make this. I'll definitely share this recipe with you, but it's balsamic glaze, grilled chicken, tomatoes, burrata cheese. This recipe will be coming because it is out of this world, and this is a store-bought beef steak tomato, but you want to talk about amazing when you pull it out of the garden fresh right off the vine. It's amazing, so I'll share that with you soon. Okay, it's Sunday evening. I'm calling it an end to the day. I will probably report back on the sourdough bread in the morning, even though I'm still going to bake it tonight, but it is getting late, and I will pop back on here in the morning. But I just love to come out and take a quick look at the garden some nights, especially when I know I've worked in it all weekend, and I just like to see how everything is doing. So I'm really hoping those guys do good. They should. And then everybody over here is doing good, but most importantly, I want to come take a quick peek at our little bunny pot. Look how pretty. Do we love that one? Yeah, do you love that one? Yes. And then we're gonna come see our snapdragons. Look at that pop of purple. I can't wait to see the other colors when those in the back grow. And then our pop of purple here. And our little pop of color. Actually, oh, look how beautiful that is with the chairs sitting there and the umbrella. Oh, that's a shot. Good morning. Thought I would come give you a report on the sourdough before I end the video, but look at that sun. It just looks amazing. Good morning, everybody. So before I end the video, I wanted to hop back on and share a report on the sourdough because it was just really late last night. So it is definitely cooling off and not as warm as it was in the summer, and the house is cooler and the dough is just not rising like I would like. So at about 8:30, I had to pull out a heating pad and it's kind of what we sit the plants on whenever we're doing the seedling cups, because it doesn't get as hot as one you would actually put on your body, and kind of put a towel on it and then sat the sourdough basket on there. And finally, after about an hour, about 9:30, it went into the oven. And so that took about an hour, and then it needs a good hour to cool. So it was a late night, but both of us were just like, what's it going to taste like? So we tasted it, and it was probably a little too warm, but it was very, very good. My husband had a fantastic point that, sorry, there's bugs, and we're in a greenhouse, but my husband had a great point that I should make a garlic butter compound, and that way if someone wants to take that garlic flavor up a level, they would have that butter. So I'm going to do that tonight because we're making a big pot of chili, and I think that's going to be great. And then if you want it to just have that kind of undertone of garlic, you just add your butter, a simple butter. So I think that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. But thank you so much for coming along this weekend. It was fantastic to have you. And please leave a comment and let me know what was your favorite item that we planted this weekend. I would love to hear. But I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye-bye.